Hey guys, welcome back. It's your girl Toya T, and I'm in my car on the way to work. And I just had something on my soul that I had to get off. So get off, or whatever. So I've been thinking about this topic for a little bit. I actually had a really interesting conversation with a friend on Facebook about the show Being Mary Jane. So if you are not familiar with the show, it is this drama, 1 hour drama that is on BET that stars Gabrielle Union as the title character, Mary Jane Paul, and it pretty much follows her trials and tribulations as being a professional, young professional black woman in Atlanta and navigating love and family and other issues. So the conversation that I had with people, so I recently let me just scale it back again. The show's on season 2. I watched season 1 while it was actually airing. Season 2, I'd heard some stuff about it that, they were throwing her into into situations that made her look crazy, and she was pining after this guy, and it was really pathetic. So I didn't watch. I listened to other people's opinions, and I didn't watch it. But since they just put up the second season, the episodes on Netflix, and I have Netflix, and I was looking for something to watch over the weekend. I was like, you know what? Let me watch this season and see what people were talking about. And I'm pretty happy that I did, because I felt that it touched on a lot of really complicated, ugly issues that we don't really like to talk about in the black community, especially when we talk about black women, that, we are flawed people. I mean, I pretty much, I think this is going to be pretty much called, we are beautiful, we are beautiful creatures, beautiful, flawed, beautiful creatures. This is coming from a song that was playing during one of the episodes, which is by the amazing artist Stacey Barth, and she has this song. You should really check it out. Called Flawed, Beautiful Creatures, or I think it's called Beautiful Creatures, but she pretty much talks in the song about how we as human beings, especially as women, we're not perfect. We all have flaws, but that doesn't make us any less of a good person or a independent, strong, focused, full, complicated human being. And the main discussion that I had with people was about how the storyline from this second season, where they seem to kind of really dig into the plight, or just how complicated it can be, even for a successful woman, a successful black woman. So usually when people want to talk about issues and stuff, they like to focus on maybe working class black women and talk about their issues with fathers that are not there and children and all this other stuff that they have to deal with. But this show actually talks about someone who is on the surface extremely successful, beautiful, has a lot of stuff going for her. She owns her own home. She makes a lot of money at her job. She's very successful. She has the nuclear family, the Cosby Show family, not Cosby, but Cosby Show family, where, they got, the family and the well-to-do father and the mother who's, this beautiful socialite and all this stuff. But at the inside, they are all still flawed. So the conversation, again, going back to where the conversation came from. So it was another friend that posted that she started watching season 2 of Being Mary Jane, and said that she hopes that they resolve some of these issues by the end of the season, because they really have turned this character into somebody who's miserable and mean and just doing a lot of stuff that doesn't make any sense, including pining after an ex-boyfriend that seems to not want her, but he wants her, but he has another woman pregnant. And last season she was sleeping with a married man, and then she has issues with some of her close friends, and she's been really nasty and saying things really out of anger to her family members and her friends. And so she was saying that she really, she doesn't like the representation of this person. And my whole take on it is even though when I started watching the first few episodes of season 2 and I was a little bit uncomfortable, I realized that I was uncomfortable because I understood Mary Jane. I understood all of the stuff that she was doing. I mean, of course, a lot of it is amplified for TV drama. This is a fictional character, but I really do think that every single aspect and issue that they kind of portrayed for Mary Jane in the second season, I know this woman, not necessarily all in one person, but I know this woman in you know, parts of this woman in almost every single female in my social circle. You know, just because you have a bachelor's degree, master's degree, PhD, JD, MD, DDS, whatever, doesn't mean that they're not still struggling with real social issues. Like what, you know, I think it's very important to kind of talk about some of these kind of issues, because I think the main problem, especially when we're talking about mental health for Black women, is that people think that they have to have this superwoman kind of image, and that you can't cry, you can't show that you're stressed, you know, you have to be this every woman that has all her stuff together and does the right things and, you know, gets rewarded from it. And if you're, you know, you don't have all those things, that you are still, you know, doing the moral thing or the right thing to get there. So pretty much what I'm saying is, just because someone has all these degrees doesn't mean that they don't, they're not irrational in their love life, that they're not pining after people that, you know, don't want them or just are not the right person for them. I mean, I will personally tell you that, like, I am Mary Jane. Like, they had the whole thing last season where, like, how are you Mary Jane? And I thought it was stupid, but if they asked it now, like, I understand kind of like that idea. Like, I am Mary Jane. Like, I will not say that I have not, like, I think I've said in another video, if you are on my YouTube channel, that I seem to attract or be attracted to unavailable men that just don't know what they want. And if they tell me what they want, I feel like I can change them, because all women think they can change or you know, convince, you know, men that that, you know, they're right and they're wrong. You know, the woman is right and the man is wrong. And so I can't say that, you know, that I don't understand Mary Jane's craziness when it comes to her ex-boyfriend David, because I definitely had someone in my life like that for over 10 years that I feel that I wasted a long time on, and most of the time I think I wasted my time and I just want to kick myself in the ass about it. And other times I realized that I learned a lot from that relationship, about myself and about that person and about just what I need in general. And that's a good thing. You should learn it, although I kick myself that it took me so long to learn it. But that is a part of the process, and I can't say that, you know, I can't point fingers and say that they made this character look so bad, because we as women, we go through things. I mean, we're still human beings. We're complicated. We can be successful and educated and smart and focused and driven and still be an emotional wreck when it comes to matters of the heart. And so that is my main thing about it, is just, why are people so kind of afraid of admitting their flaws? Like, I've gotten to this point in my life now, I'm in my 30s, where I'm becoming a little bit more comfortable with my flaws because I want to work on them. And at first, like, just like any problem, you have to admit the problem. And I admit that I definitely have a thing for emotional, unavailable men. And the ones that do want me, I'm like, I don't know if I would necessarily want you to. And maybe I have daddy issues. Maybe I have, you know, I've pulled some of this down to maybe I have daddy issues, and, you know, growing up in a single mother home, that maybe I've given my father a lot more allowances because he was not in the home 24/7, as opposed to how I deal with women, because my mother was always there. So I found in my own relationships with, you know, friends or whatever, that if a female crosses me, I have no problem just cutting them out of my life and moving on, because I lived in a household with another woman full time, and seeing all their flaws and stuff, and, you know, learned how to form relationships, like a full relationship with women. And maybe because I was in that home with my mother, and you have all those complicated things about, you know, mothers and daughters, that I automatically kind of, you know, have no problem cutting off women. Like, I see, you know, you do something, I get mad, and then, you know, either I forgive you or I can just cut you out easily without a problem. And if you try to work things out with me, it takes me a little bit longer, or I'm a little bit more hesitant to do anything, as opposed to with guys, because maybe, you know, as a child, I always wanted my father to be around, so I kind of made a lot of excuses for him. Thank you. A lot of excuses for him, that when it comes to guys that I date, that when they do something wrong, I give them a lot more leeway and are more willing to forgive them, including this person that I was involved with for, you know, from college all up until like last year. Nope, 2 years ago. That, you know, it's the same thing, that I allow this because I want this person to be around, and because they're a male, that I kind of do that. So, you know, we're flawed. I'm trying to work on that. And, you know, it's so funny that towards the end of that, of my relationship with this person, and that we had probably the most honest conversations at the end about things, you know, that went on between us, and there's things that we were dealing with as just human beings. And, you know, it just said a lot to me. And even now, I still, even though that kind of moved on from this person, that even when they tell me stuff, I'm still like, oh my gosh, like, this person just got engaged, and I still have, like, as a human being, I still have to deal with some of those issues, because when I found out, I said congratulations, but then I kind of sat with it for a whole week, thinking about, like, okay, so why does he get to be happy? Like, he kind of really made me cry more than I think anyone has ever made me cry in life. I was really on the bad end of his fuck shit, and to the point that I wanted to throw a brick through his window, and had public screaming matches and all kinds of stuff. But anyway, but it's still within me thinking, like, why does he get to be happy and get to, you know, move on and get married to his current girlfriend, and I am single and still looking for that person? But then, you know, when talking it out with friends, I had to realize that, and this is pretty similar to Mary Jane, with her and her ex-boyfriend, that I don't want that. There's a reason why it was shit. There's a reason why it didn't work out. There's a reason why we're not together. Like, I don't want that situation. He had a lot of issues that I knew very much about, and there's definitely not something that I want, even though he is still in my life, because we are still friends, and I'm still connected to people in his family. But I don't want that nonsense. Like, it's cool that his girlfriend, whether she knows everything about his nonsense or not, that she has made a decision that she wants to marry him, and that is her decision. Just like how we can't just say, oh, you know, this person has all this stuff together, and why are they doing this nonsense? Like, the same thing on the surface that you can't say just because you know, someone has all their stuff together professionally, that they will make the right decisions. Maybe they're making the right decisions for themselves, because if someone decides to forgive someone for their mistakes, that is something that they have to deal with. You can't go back on it. You can't throw it back in their face. You just kind of have to deal with it. So anyway, this is getting kind of long, but still, I just want to just hear you guys' comments, and you know, let's talk and dialogue about, you know, about being flawed, beautiful creatures. Like, why can't we just accept that that's what we are? We can't always have it together. Just because I have a PhD and all this other stuff doesn't mean that I, you know, don't, you know, have emotional issues, that I don't have personal issues that have absolutely nothing to do with my title or my profession or anything, that still affects me, but still makes me a human being. You know, you can go pine over your boyfriend. You can be depressed. You can be angry at people and lash out, as long as you realize, what you're doing and the flaws in it, and are able to find a way to work through it. So that's, at the end of that, that's what I said to people on the post, is that I really like the season because, Mary Jane is pretty much going through it, but public, like we were watching her going through it, and at the end you see her trying to work through these issues. In some cases she's successful, in some cases she's not successful, but that's life. I mean, there's really no, Cinderella happy endings in life. Even when you see someone and see a couple and you think they're having the best, happiest life ever, it's not always like that. Relationships are hard. People are human and have all kinds of, great qualities and struggles. And so that's why we can't be so surprised when you see someone who's super successful, like, oh my gosh, I'm so mad that I don't remember her name, but like, is it TT Branch or Miko Branch, the one from Miss Jessie's? The fact that people see on the surface that she was so successful and then find out that she killed herself. And it's like, on the surface, you think that she has it all together. She has this, she's making a lot of money. She has, a loving family and a successful business, and, something that you can find. You can buy Miss Jessie's in Target. And I remember when they were just working out of Brooklyn, and look how much she has accomplished. And you think that she should be happy, and it turns out that she wasn't. And she was so unhappy and so caught up in her own mental issues that she killed herself. So, it's that kind of stuff that I'm trying to avoid. Like, we have to accept that we're flawed, because it can end up, we internalize it, and it can end up turning into something even uglier and worse than, being a professional woman that pines after an ex-boyfriend, or sleeps with a married man, or, has a child out of wedlock, or whatever. So anyway, let's talk about it. It's running long. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Comment, like, and share, and subscribe to my channel. Subscribe to my new blog. And I will see you guys later. Bye-bye.